Pixar is back with another round of Inside Out, following their smash hit from 2015. And in that first film, if you remember, 11-year-old Riley moves with her family to a different city after her dad gets a new job. And in that film, she grapples with feelings of sadness and anger that eventually culminate in her running away from home. And that movie focuses on the tension between the personified emotion of joy and sadness, where sadness is only ever viewed as negative and unhelpful. And the movie resolves as Joy comes to recognize the value of sadness and bringing others in closer when Riley is feeling emotionally overwhelmed. This time, Inside Out 2 follows our protagonist Riley Anderson again as she hits the age of 13 and along with that puberty as it lands in her life, along with a host of new emotions. The movie dives into the key theme of identity, which is a crucial developmental stage for teenagers. At the start of the movie, Riley describes herself as having a sense of self that is, I am a good person. And that results from her early childhood memories and experiences that were relatively simple without a whole lot of complexity to them. The character Joy is largely in control again, and now, although she acknowledges the usefulness of other emotions like sadness, she works still really hard to get rid of other difficult or painful memories and push them out of Riley's mind. However, the wrecking ball of puberty tears down everything that Joy has carefully set up, and in a classic, witty, funny, and heartfelt way, Pixar explores the impact that puberty can have on a young person, all the various consequences, as all the old emotions need to make room for all the new ones. The new emotions on the block are envy, embarrassment, ennui, and of course, anxiety, who is probably the main protagonist in this film. In the context of a pre-teen environment, the old emotions are well suited and help Riley get by with her life. However, the character of Joy is a bit naive and blind to the massive changes that arrive in Riley's life, and it turns out a constant focus on positive emotions while striving not to have other negative memories is not really that well suited to the complex interactions and contradictions that come about from adolescent life. As she enters into puberty and becomes focused on fitting in and being accepted with her new peer group, lots of other emotions come to the fore, principally anxiety, and the anxiety character focuses on wanting to protect Riley from being left out or excluded and works really hard to drive Riley to fit in with the group. And this is made much harder by the presence of other emotions such as acute embarrassment and envy, which pull Riley in all sorts of different directions as she struggles to fit in and also at the same time be herself. This results in lots of different small behaviours in which she does her best to fit in with this new peer group, but at the same time moves further and further away from her previous sense of self and who she wants to be. The more that she tries to fit in, paradoxically, the less that she does, and she ends up doing things driven by anxiety of not fitting in. And the key piece is a belief about herself within the movie as not being good enough, which sets the anxiety character into overdrive. As in the first movie, the character Joy sees the error of her ways and the consequences of focusing only on positive memories, and eventually all memories are allowed into awareness to influence Riley's identity. And the character Joy deliberately breaks this old identity of I am a good person to allow something much more nuanced and complex to form. This more complex identity represents the different spectrums and dimensions of Riley's experience, within which she has both I'm a good person and also I'm selfish, or I need to fit in, but also I want to be myself. And in many ways, these represent the real contradictions and complexities of adolescent life, and indeed probably adult life more realistically. An identity based around I'm a good person doesn't really allow for the multifaceted components of a person as they exist in day-to-day life. The eventual resolution is not trying to create a positive identity, but rather sit with the complexity of life and hold that complexity with a warmth and a compassionate stance. In the movie, this is the point where Riley opens up to the sadness of her situation and is able to step towards healing key relationships with her friends. And after this point, you can see her being much more intentional in how she wants to move forward in her life. And the movie does a really nice job of showing the sense of joy that comes along with this, which is probably represented by that feeling we get when we create a full sense of acceptance towards ourselves, all parts of ourselves at the same time, where everyone, all our internal experiences can coexist without being excluded. And this represents, in a real sense, self-acceptance, where all parts of our characters can be included, but crucially, not in a passive way, but in a way that allows Riley to do the things that she really cares about.